Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Kat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts?
Addicts, aficionados?
Ooh, I like that. Experts.
Experts.
Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back. We have been away for a week due to illness, unheard of in TV My Husband Hates, but nevertheless, we decided to take a week off because Reagan was poorly sick. How are you doing, Reagan?
I'm doing good. I'm doing way better than I was last week. Last week was just kind of a shit show, really, because I forget why we couldn't record on Friday. Some reason.
Probably my fault.
Maybe. And then I didn't have any childcare, so we decided to record on Sunday. And I woke up with a really nasty fever and a bunch of COVID symptoms. And it turns out I am positive for COVID-19.
She is glowing. I have to say, I say that, but you look amazing.
Thank you. Lost 4 pounds this week.
I mean, listen, that's a silver lining. But I don't think I look that good without COVID. So good on you.
Oh, thanks. I mean, it's probably the massive amounts of sleep. Like, my husband has been killing it watching our 2 boys because they're also home because obviously we all have to quarantine now. So he's been working and watching the kids and taking care of me and doing all this amazing stuff. So he's been a badass. But I've been getting loads of sleep, like naps and sleeping all through the night, and that's
the one thing that COVID's great for, right? You can play the COVID card and you basically just get to sleep the whole... I mean, you feel a bit crappy, but you get all that sleep.
All the sleep. I'm watching loads of Grey's Anatomy, even the new ones, which are all the COVID episodes, which kind of scare the shit out of me a little bit.
There's new Grey's Anatomy with
Grey's
COVID?
Anatomy started last week, so season 17 is out now. And it is all about COVID, and you watch it, and especially when you've got COVID, it kind of scares the shit out of you. I'm like, I don't know if I should be watching this. But yes, there's a new season of Grey's Anatomy.
I love Grey's Anatomy. I had no idea there's another one out. That's me sorted. Yeah. That's ace. I'm very excited about that. But other than that, you're still in renovation. You've still got renovations going on. You're still all living in the basement. You're sick. Yeah. And the kids are home from school.
They're home from school, and actually both of their schools closed for different reasons before we even had to quarantine. So it's kind of actually the best time. Like, if this had to happen, the bummer is we miss Thanksgiving, which really blows. It's one of my favorite holidays, but it's kind of the best time. Like, we can all just hunker down and be alone, and
well, maybe we should schedule in our Greatest Showman watch party this week while you're quarantining.
Ooh, maybe we should.
Maybe we can do that this weekend.
Yes.
Righty. But before we move on to the shows, we obviously didn't do the post bag last week because we didn't do the podcast last week.
Yeah.
But we are going to use the post bag submissions that you gave us last week because it was inspired by the Real Housewives of Potomac episode where Ashley leaves Baby Dean with Michael. I mean, I don't know about you, but we could all see that not going well right off the bat.
I actually don't think she overreacted all that much to that. I mean, I know we didn't really get to talk about it, but like, if every time I left my husband, he ended up like going to a hotel room with strippers, I'd probably be a little fucking freaked out.
I mean, I agree. It's not like she's left him in sole charge. All he has to do is be home for 7 o'clock.
Right.
And I think if he can't do that, I would lose my shit too. Just one thing. So I was totally team Ashley last week. Yeah. But the question we asked for the post bag was, have you ever left your kid with your partner or with somebody else and they did something like mega ridiculous while they did that? And one of the things Jimmy did when I left baby Billy, my eldest, with him when she was he drew like eyebrows and let's just say a politically incorrect mustache on her and sent it to me by pictures on the phone.
I don't think I ever heard about that. That's fucking hilarious.
I mean, it's not something I shout about, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's what happened.
I want to see the picture now.
I no. Well, maybe I don't even know if I can find it. I was looking for like early pictures, and somehow my phone stops at like 2015. Like, it doesn't have anything before that. But I will look and see if we can find them. But funny. You came up, guys, listeners, with your own ridiculous things that your partners or aunties or actually sometimes yourselves had done, and it really gave us joy. So Reagan's chosen a couple.
Yeah.
And do you want to kick off with yours?
Sure. Okay. This one, I find really, this was very near and dear because I really remember like the first, like having our oldest, obviously. And I remember one night there was like a sick night where our oldest vommed, peed on me, pooped, and did it like all at the same time. Like everything was exploding at the same time. And yeah, so this one rang really close to my heart. Left my 6-month-old with daddy so I could go to the supermarket. Came back to find her sitting in 2 inches of poo water. Had a happy explosion. And the best way to handle it was to sit her in the bath covered in poo. So I had to clean her and the bath. Angry face emoji. We still talk about it now, 14 years later.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Why didn't he shower?
I don't know.
Would a shower have been a better option?
I don't know the thought process of like seeing your baby covered in poo and being like, oh, I'll just stick her in the bath and like not wash any of it off.
Just let her marinate in her own. Oh!
Yikes.
So this one I really liked because I told a story again. This was my mum. When I was a baby, we didn't have such things as car seats.
No.
Not a thing. Instead, they just used to put us in a bassinet on the back seat and hope for the best. Yeah. Anyway, I think my mum got back from shopping and put me in my bassinet on the roof of the car to like load everything up. You can see where this is going, can't you? Yeah. And then she was in a multi-story car park, so thank God she was driving super slow. But it was the olden days when you didn't have machines to pay at. There was like a man at the bottom in a like cabin, and you paid him. Anyway, she stopped to pay the man, wound down the window, and he went, "Madam, you do know that you have a baby on your roof?" And she'd driven all the way out of this multi-story car park with me on the roof of the car.
Well, good thing your mom drives so slow.
I know. Well,
I mean, if it had been your dad, you probably would have fallen right off.
I mean, I would have been deaded for sure. Anyway, this was said that her partner started reversing out of the car park and couldn't see Hugo in the seat. He hadn't strapped him in, so he was in the footwell of the car. We never let him forget that. Yeah, no. I mean, love those stories.
This one is short and sweet and to the point, and I love it. Not feeding the 9-month-old because she didn't ask.
which is funny, except that if they start screaming, surely that's their version of asking.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I almost need more information about that one. Like, was she just sat there screaming of hunger pains, but he was refusing to give her food because she wasn't like, I'd like fish fingers, please.
Daddy, I'm starting to feel a little peckish. Would you mind whipping some sausages on the grill for me? That would be brilliant. Thanks. That's what he was expecting from the 9-month-old. I love it. My last one is... I just hit my head on the microphone, so that's going to be a weird noise, sorry. My last one is a husband, and I just like this one because of the imagery that she creates. Husband took baby in pram to the local shop to get a paper and parked her up and left her outside like a dog.
I will say, though, when I read that one, I thought about, what is that, like, go ask the, what is it? Go ask the midwife? That's what people used to do with babies.
Oh, yeah. Call the midwife.
All the time. On the East End of London. Like, they just left their bassinets outside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think actually I did do it. I was going to say, did I do it? I don't think I did. I think I did when I went to visit my parents in North Yorkshire. We were going, and I was running into the pub for some change, and there was loads of stairs, but it was North Yorkshire, and it was the Dales, so there was nobody there. But yes, I do like the way, I sort of imagine him like pulling it up to a lamppost, maybe even putting a chain on it like a bike.
Right.
To protect the pram,
Right.
Obviously not the
Obviously
baby.
not the baby. Yeah.
And then sauntering in for a paper and a...
Yeah. I mean, why not?
I mean, the things that they do. But that in mind, thank you very much for getting involved with Postbag. We always love it. It's nice to have your voices on the... I keep saying it every week. One day we'll have a prize for the people that we mentioned, but it's not today. So today you just have to make do with our praise and thanks.
Absolutely. They were brilliant. Thank you for everyone who participated.
So let's get on with the first show. Reagan, it's Potomac, and what are your thoughts on this week's show?
I mean, I think it was all about Ashley and Candace. And at first, because we've been team Ashley pretty much this entire season. Ashley's not put a step wrong. She's been really thoughtful. We've been really empathetic about what she's going through. But I was a little put off by Ashley this week. And it started for me, the not being cool with Candace just casually chatting about maybe becoming a mother.
Yeah, we talked about this before we came on air, and I agree that it wasn't attractive behavior, but I also sort of felt like I could see where it was coming from. Like, I think that there's a lot of stuff that, let's not forget, there has been a lot of stuff in previous seasons where Candace has behaved atrociously to Ashley. Ashley, I think, we've given Ashley credit for being able to get over a lot of that and move forward with Candace. I think the motherhood conversation has triggered something in Ashley that has just left her raging. And so I feel like she's addressing that with her. And I think it's difficult because we've seen Ashley be so magnanimous about so many things. So when we do see her being a bit unreasonable about something or a bit harsh about something, it feels a bit jarring. But credit to Candace for not losing her shit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we've seen a lot of growth in Candace this season. This season and last season are like night and day Candace.
Yeah.
Like, she's, taking a step back. She's really trying to be thoughtful about her response. And I think Chris has a lot to do with that. I think Chris is really, talks to her about losing her shit and keeping her cool. And I do think, not to harp on Ashley too much, but we also see a different Ashley this season. Ashley has not always been super chill, not in anybody's business either. I feel like Giselle and Robin were really apt, and they pointed out that Ashley kind of used to act like Candace.
Yeah.
Totally. In the earlier seasons.
I think Ashley's gone through that transition that we all go through when you have a baby, when you suddenly realize that you're not the center of the universe, that actually you're pretty fucking low down on the pecking order. And and I think it gives you empathy. We saw it with Cameron in Southern Charm last season. It just triggers something in you that makes you more empathetic, more generous of spirit. And I think that's what we've seen. And also less time for bullshit. I don't think Ashley had the time or the energy to engage in another fight with Candace. She wanted it done. You don't get enough sleep for that shit.
Right.
So I think that's definitely kind of driven her change. And I think you're right about Candace. I think Chris is 100% behind this. I think she's in therapy too. That's probably helping.
Right.
And I think being away from her mum is also, putting up boundaries with her mum is also really, really helping. That being said, I think, here's the thing. They're going to work through the motherhood thing. No problem. Yeah. What they're not going to work through, I think we can all safely assume, is the fact that Ashley has written this statement for Candace. And I've got to be honest, I'm Team Candace on this.
Hell yes. And I think Wendy, I feel like I saw previews of Wendy calling her out and just being like, no, you're just being hateful. This statement actually is no help for Candace whatsoever. It's not about giving a character reference. It's a character assassination. And I think that's 100% right. I think that's why Monique asked Ashley to do it in the first place. And obviously this is where Ashley's unresolved feelings are all going to go live on this document.
Exactly, and that's what's motivating her. She's spinning the tale that she's doing it to reciprocate for Monique and Chris's support with ass-grabbing Gate and Michael. But I think that's just a big fat justification. I think actually this is about her seeing an opportunity to get Candace back. And Robin puts it perfectly. She's like, I would get it if your statement was in support of Monique's character and not about assassinating Candace's character.
For sure.
That would be fine. That would make sense. And I think she nails it. This isn't about Monique. This is about her undermining, getting back at Candace. And the irony is, Ashley is like the only person who did not see what happened at all.
Right. Well, I mean, the statement's not even about the evening at hand, right? It's about like the knife evening from a year ago or whatnot. But I will say this, as much as Ashley keeps going on and on about how there for her Monique was, it leads me to believe that there is deleted footage of shit that actually went down with Michael that nobody knows about, because like Monique was like, oh no, there are no like cameras down there or whatnot. I feel, and I mean, this has no basis in sort of fact, but I feel like Monique must see something on some, but not about the ass grab gate, and buried it.
I mean,
and that's why Ashley is down to do.
If that's the case, then that takes Monique to a whole new level of fucking dark and deceitful, right? If she is now blackmailing Ashley based on some evidence that she's got of Michael being the dirty bastard that we all know he is anyway, so let's not. We're not going to be surprised by that. That takes her to a whole new level. Obviously,
well, I don't even know if Monique is blackmailing her so much as maybe said something like, Ashley, I have this other footage. I deleted it. It's gone. Nobody's going to ever know about it. Like, told her that when it happened. And now when she needs, like, not that she's blackmailing her now, but like Ashley knows that she did this favor for her. So Ashley's going to step up and do Monique a solid as well.
Definitely. I think that definitely. I think definitely Monique is calling in a favor here.
Yeah.
And it smacks of Monique that she wants an assassination of Candace rather than a support of her own character, which would hands down be the best way to go, because otherwise you look petty and vengeful and it doesn't look great. So the joke's on both of them, but Ashley is severely misled here, and I think she made the wrong decision. And I think she knows she has.
Totally. It's not a good look.
No, it isn't.
I think we're going to see more of that next week.
I think we are too, but let's see how this plays out, because I think it's going to be explosive.
Absolutely.
And we are back. Now, let's move on to Below Deck. Episode 2 or 3? Are we on 3 maybe now?
We're on 3, yeah.
And despite everything, we had Charlie on board. I have to say, I thought he was going to be a total dick. I thought he was going to log all of this stuff, be nice as pie about it, and then use it to slice that tip in half. And actually, he left the biggest tip I think I've ever seen on Below Deck.
Agreed. I think so. He left $25,000 as a tip, and I hand to heart think this is the largest tip I've ever seen on any of the Below Decks.
Well, I wonder if they were just so embarrassed about the fight at the end on the last night over James that he was just like, I'm just going to throw money at this problem and walk away. Like,
he had to. That fight was so ridiculous.
It was so embarrassing.
Like, especially just really for the one girl, too. Not the girl whose birthday it was. Yeah, I think it was. But I felt so cringy for her. Like, this is James, like the pretty boy on the yacht. You just enjoy him. It's not like you're going to have a relationship. Oh. I don't know what that fight was really about, but I'd love to know, because it could not have just been about James.
Anyway, whatever it was really about, it landed on a 25K tip. I'm pretty sure that's what that was about. Because it certainly wasn't about the service, because frankly, it was a fucking shambles.
Oh, it was such a shit show.
It was a complete shit show. But the guests leave and we get our first night out. Now, you and I both know, and we've spoken about it a lot, that the nights out on Below Deck are one of our favourite episodes. So I was really excited for this. I didn't feel like they really delivered.
No, they just went out to eat.
That's not what we're here for, guys. We need you to go eat, drink a lot, go to the club, drink a lot,
yeah,
more,
hook up,
shout, fall off swings. Maybe it's an injury or two, just a small one.
We're not asking a lot here.
Abuse of the boat when you get back, so that Captain Lee gets up without his shirt on and says, "God damn it!" That's what we want from a night out. What we got,
for sure.
What we fucking got was like a starter.
I've had wilder nights out since having children.
I've had wilder nights out since lockdown. This is like the lamest night out I've ever seen. I'm with James. Like, poor James.
Hell yeah.
He's a lad from Blackpool. He's a northerner. So I know what he's thinking. I'm a northerner. He was out on the lash. Like, he wanted to have fun. And he could not find a friend. And I felt really sorry for him.
100%. We're here for you, James. We would have been your friends. We would have stayed out with you. 100%.
I mean, we would have been arrested if we'd have been there. You know what we're like. We never go home.
We would have lost our jobs on the boat.
We would have lost everything. We would have lost our... It would have been awful. Imagine the first time we actually get back together after this coronavirus chaos. Like, that night is going to be ridiculous.
We're going to blow our load way too early. It's going to be like 10 o'clock and we're going to be hammered on the floor. Let's
with
be
our
real.
husbands looking disapprovingly down upon us as we try and sing
we'll
the
have
words to Wilson Phillips, "Hold On."
Right, we'll have loads of dub smash and TikTok videos to document the entire thing. So I'm sure you all will see it.
We'll think that we'll have done the lip syncing really, really well, but then we'll wake up in the morning and be like,
first, my eyes will be like this big. Yeah. You won't even be able to see them.
Anyway, enough about us.
Yeah.
Literally the worst night out ever on Below Deck. Thanks for that, guys. And then we get a new stew. We get a new stew. Ashley.
Aisling. With a G.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Izzy moves out to the exterior, which, I mean, Francesca's sigh of relief. I don't blame her.
No, and I think actually Izzy is where she is meant to be. I mean, she's already better than Shane out on deck anyways. I mean, that's not that hard.
Would be better than Shane.
Yeah. But hopefully, like, this is just where she's supposed to be. Because it seems like she's happier and willing to move a hell of a lot faster than she was on the interior. And hopefully this rights all the wrongs.
Let's hope so. I have to say, I'd definitely rather be on the outside than the inside.
Oh, yeah. I think the inside would be a shit job.
I do, too. So we get the new stew. Aisling, I mean, she seems nice. I felt for her, though. She literally just got off a flight from Australia and is now, like, smack bang straight into it.
Yeah, it's hard going, for sure. Because I think she said she had, like, 30 hours of flights.
Oh, God, can you even imagine? I'd be in tears as well. And then we get the new guests. And these guests are just awful. Awful.
I don't understand 20-year-olds that have the money to party on a yacht.
Well, their dads have the money to party.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just don't think it should be allowed. I just don't think that a bunch of 22-year-olds should be allowed to be on a yacht that their daddies paid for with staff that are working there and then to ask for a naked sushi model.
Yeah, see, I didn't get as offended by that as seemingly all of the rest of social media. Like, it's a big thing on all of the social media chat things, at least on Facebook. People are very up in arms about this, but, like, it's a thing. Like, it was a thing on like, Sex and the City and things like that. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it was. Like, that's 20 years ago. I don't know. I think it's a little bit old. I think it's a little bit old school. It's a little bit out of date. And
yeah,
I think
for sure.
22-year-olds.
Yeah, I would expect them to be a little bit more
cooler,
woke
but
and
also woke. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It just all felt a little bit like something a 50-year-old
like their dads would have done.
Yeah, because they thought it'd be really fun, and actually it's just a little bit misogynistic, and it's just a bit like, really, like, also hygiene. Like,
Yeah, no. Sushi is a tricky food. Like, you don't fuck around with it.
No, as Rachel says, fish on fish.
Exactly. I loved Rachel for that, by the way.
I loved Rachel for that. I loved Rachel for, like, her complete despair. She's like, this fucking meal was wasted on these 22-year-olds. She should have just not got any of that fancy fish, kept that for the crew, and literally just sliced up some regular supermarket salmon.
California rolls. That's all they wanted. California rolls. She would have been good to go.
That's it. on a bloody naked lady. Anyway, other than that, really, we just saw Shane once again get his knickers in a twist. Calls out Eddie for Eddie's sarcastic comment on the radio. I don't appreciate that, Eddie.
What a little wanker.
He is just a little whiny bitch. But here's the thing, like, if it had been anybody else, if it had been James, like, doing his job properly, and Eddie was just a bit sarcastic to him, and I respect somebody who goes up and says, listen, I just didn't appreciate it.
Yeah,
like,
that's not on.
Saying what you need and doing it. But Shane,
you have no legs.
At a point before you've got no legs. You don't have a leg to stand on.
No, you have no legs. You can't tell people it's raining like 15 minutes after everything is soaked on the boat anyways. But I don't know. But I think you're right. Had it been anybody else, I totally would have sided with them. But because it was him, I was like, meh, be as sarcastic as you like to him. Fuck him.
What do you reckon his chances are of surviving the season?
Oh, I think he's going to be gone in like the next few episodes.
I do too. He can't.
I think like, cause was it last week where he had his shirt off and it really fucked off Captain Lee does not like him.
No, Captain
He'll be
Lee,
gone.
Listen, Captain Lee is an old school man's man. Like, you know, he's kind of a little bit of a misogynist, but sort of one that we can kind of forgive. Like, women have a role and men have a role in Captain Lee's book. And Shane blurs all of those lines for him.
Yeah,
you know
it makes him very uncomfortable.
It does. If one of the students was doing yoga on the front deck, he'd be like, nice view.
Right.
But when it's Shane, he's like, I don't understand. This does not compute. Boys, stop doing that. Like, go lift some weights or go on the treadmill. That's what makes sense to Captain
But put a
Lee.
shirt on while you do it.
Put a fucking shirt on.
Hold on. I wrote down one of his, like, brilliant one-liners.
Oh, I did too, actually. It's probably the same one for sure.
Couldn't drive a straight pin up my ass with a 10-pound sledgehammer.
That's exactly the one I wrote.
The pucker effect.
Yes, man. Absolutely. I love that we wrote down the same one. But let's move on to the OC. Now, it's getting I'm quite tired of the OC.
I am too, and I don't know if it's going to get any better. I feel like it's just going to get more cringy as, like, Corona rages on.
I know.
For right now, I'm only really annoyed with Shannon.
Yeah, me too. And Kelly, Kelly's not doing anything new. Shannon's just being the most insecure, angry. Yeah. She's so insecure, she's like vibrating with it. And that's the thing with Shannon. I just wish that she could just have a little bit more strength of her convictions and just go make a decision based on how she feels rather than on how everybody else is feeling. Yeah. And just stick to it.
Well, because everything about Shannon is how it makes her look to other people, and that's what bothers her. Like when she talks about, well, I can't come back if you've called me a liar. Well, you can. Like, you were being a liar. Like, you could just own it and say, shit, I did say that, I'm sorry, and move on. But no, you're going to, like, dig your heels in because you want to be seen as being a certain way versus, like, a real human being.
Well, and let's look at the evidence. Bronwyn is owning a lot of shit. She's being very honest about how she's been to Gina. She said, I wanted to hurt you. I was being a bitch. I'm really sorry. She's been honest about all sorts of things. So why would she be lying about this?
It's one thing.
This one thing. She's really she's put herself out there. She's let herself there. She's been vulnerable. So why the fuck would she be lying about this? Which she doesn't really benefit from either way anyway at this point. But Shannon cannot ever admit that she's wrong, ever admit that she made a mistake, or even may have made a mistake. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Maybe that she just genuinely doesn't remember or believe that she said it. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But you have to be open to the possibility that maybe you did fuck up.
Yeah, she fucked up for sure.
Not in Shannon's world.
No.
But she's also rapidly losing allies because Gina is now on board with Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Elizabeth's fully on board. Kelly's not really. But
Kelly's not the most sensitive friend in the box, is she?
Kelly is like, if we lived in opposite worlds, Kelly would be the most sensitive person I'd ever met in my life. But
she's like the Trump of their friend group.
She is. I mean, I don't like her. I don't like Rick. I don't like anything about that. But I can forgive her more because at least she's consistent with who she is.
She is who she is. Like,
you know what you're getting.
When you look at Kelly, you know exactly what you're gonna get. Like, it does what it says on the tin, right? Yeah. She's everything you expect her to be. And that's it. And she owns it. She doesn't try to hide it. And I feel like as much as I don't like it, I respect it. Like, she is who she is, and that's it. That's my problem with Shannon, is like, she just... I don't know if she doesn't know who she is. I don't know.
I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can think of 5 words to describe Kelly, 5 words to describe Bronwyn, 5 words. I can describe them. Shannon, I'm like, I don't get you. I don't know what you're giving me any day of the week. We've also got coronavirus starting to roll in to the OC.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, Shannon's stockpiling.
Yeah. She's a hoarder for sure. No.
Yeah. Entitled cow. Fine, I'll get over it.
She's got all the loo roll in the OC.
It's really interesting, though, across the shows, because we're starting, obviously, to see it come in across all of the shows.
Yeah.
To see the ones that take it seriously and the ones that don't.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, and then obviously we end this episode with the vow renewal.
The vowel renewal?
The vowel renewal. Reagan, now you guys didn't hear it, but all I heard them talk about, I think it's Shannon that says it the most, but they call it the vowel renewal, and it's really annoying because obviously
see, I didn't hear that at all. So you guys chime in. Like, did you hear the vowel renewal or the vow renewal?
Let's see. Honestly, if you
I may have to watch it again.
Hear them. You will. You'll hear them. Okay. Vowel renewal. Vowel renewal. It's like, it's not fucking letters.
They want to buy some lies. Who can blame them?
Who can blame them? And apparently, everybody got up in arms about Jacob's comments on the old social media.
People like to get all up in arms about really basic, normal shit, I feel. Because I felt like Jacob's toast was just that of a 14-year-old weird dude who just wanted to be strange.
Because maybe all 14-year-olds are awkward and weird.
Absolutely. 14-year-olds are my favorite kind of weirdos, to be really frank with you. Like, they're just insane. So I didn't have a problem with what he said at their vowel renewal.
but then we didn't actually bring this up, but during this whole party, Shannon's getting her knickers in a twist again because Kelly thinks that she's making water and all the rest. Turns out it's a miscommunication. But does it end there? No. Like, it doesn't end there. Shannon has to then, like, sit seething throughout the whole ceremony. And then as soon as it's over, the minute it's over, she's, like, running to Gina and Emily. It's like,
fuck off. It's not about you.
Fucking go. Just let it go.
Yeah. My other little thing is Kelly and the whole tequila chat in the bus, where Gina is very straight up. Like, look, tequila is one of her triggers, so it's not going to be there. So there are going to be loads of other drinks, but there just won't be tequila. And it really bothered me that Kelly is like, no, we have to go buy tequila.
Yeah, it's spoiled. It's spoiled and it's nasty. And if you can't get through one event without some tequila, then there's then
drink the vodka.
There's a problem. Drink the vodka. Drink the wine. Drink the champagne. Drink literally anything else. But she's been very clear about her triggers, and this is the problem with Kelly for me. It's like she's so self-involved and doesn't give a shit. That as much as I respect, like you say, the consistency of bullshit, I just get tired of it because it's also ugly when you watch a woman of that age behave like that.
For sure. And especially to someone who is supposedly your friend. Like, I would think, you know, if Shannon had a problem with tequila, fine. I don't care if, like, Kelly brings it because they are not, like, friends. But Bronwyn is supposed to be one of her really good friends. And I would just think that there would be more compassion there rather than these jokes about, like, not being a quitter and I don't know.
That's dark.
That shit's tacky.
I don't like that. Yeah, it is tacky. You're right. I mean, I'm sure that this is going to rumble on. We're going to be talking about Bronwyn's sobriety for the rest of the season.
For sure.
I mean, I also think the other women are quite triggered by it as well, right? Because if somebody says that they're drinking too much, there's a problem. You start to think about your own drinking and whether you're drinking too much. So maybe that's all playing into this as well, but we'll see. But more excitingly, we are moving on to a brand new, spanking Bravo show, Real Housewives. I just messed that up. Sorry, I'm going to do it again. Fucking hell, you can't rely on me.
Of Salt Lake City.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, I'm enjoying this.
I'm really enjoying this, and I missed that we were not here last week to talk about like the first episode, so maybe we can just blend it all in. But I'm here for it. I love these ladies. I like the dynamic. I like the differences. I think the religious stuff is interesting.
That's what I was just about to say. I love the filter of the Mormonism over everything, and the ones that are and aren't, the ones that have been kicked out, and the ones that are legit in LDS, dark, deep stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I love them. And I like the Mary and her crazy church too. Like, it's not just the Mormonism, and we also have this Presbyterianism in play. Oh, it's a lot, man. Marrying our step grandpas and I don't even know.
This is why I love reality TV. If somebody did this as a drama, we'd all be like, well, that's shit. That doesn't that would happen. But because it's reality TV, we're like, But let's talk, because obviously Jen and Mary were picking up in the middle of this party where Jen and her husband, Sharif, he's gone off. So what she does, which apparently seems totally normal, is empty her entire house of its furniture, completely renovate for a party, and host a party for her friend Meredith, which, let's all be honest, is not anything to do with Meredith. And in the middle of it, have a massive fight with Mary about the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
About smelling like a hospital.
I am going to try and keep a straight face throughout this part of the conversation.
Okay.
But I cannot promise that I'm going to make it all the way through. I am with Heather on this. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life.
Absolutely. It's absurd, yet I can kind of see where both people are coming from. I 100% see Jen's trauma about her aunt losing her legs, and she was in the hospital all day, which is why she smelled like a hospital. I even can kind of understand Mary having this traumatic thing happen.
Yeah.
The Mary thing, no. I'm going to say, I'm a little confused, because did she have elective surgery to get all of her odor glands removed?
So I don't know what odor glands are. I imagine they're the smelly ones. They're the armpits and.
I assume.
Yeah, that sounds elective to me.
Yeah, so then I don't get her side of it at all. You went in, and unless there was something wrong, and so she had to get all these glands removed, then maybe that could be a traumatic thing, and so you don't like the smell of hospitals. But I don't understand this fight.
I do, but the thing is, they're just so emotionally fucking backwards that they can't understand what this fight is actually about, and they keep going on about this "you smell like hospitals." It is not about that.
No.
It's about Jen being stressed as fuck and Mary being a bit triggered, and that coming together and it having explosion. And rather than both of them going, do you know what? It was just really bad timing, and I've been through this, and it obviously triggered some stuff in you.
For sure.
So let's just move on. We're just going to keep saying over and over and over again, but you said I smelled like hospitals. That's what we're going to do with this. And I was like,
man,
I cannot hear this anymore.
No, I really hope this is the last episode we have to deal with this fight. I really want it to be done. I don't want to hear it anymore. It is ridiculous. Heather is spot fucking on.
She is. And Heather, by the way, is hands down my favorite. Jen, I quite like. I sort of quite like Jen. Mary,
I appreciate Jen. Mary's weird, dude.
She's weird, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Lisa is the biggest bitch I have seen on any of these reality TV shows.
Yes.
Just going to say it.
Yes, I agree.
Whitney, is sweet. Not the sharpest tool in the box. Let's be clear.
I think she's a super sweet girl. I've got a soft spot for her. For sure.
I like her as well. Heather, obviously, we love. Meredith, I feel a bit like she's made of stone from the inside out.
Yeah, I'm getting I find it hard to read Meredith, and her voice kind of annoys me. And I don't know if it's one thing or another. Like it's a kind of a New York, Chicago, Utah. I don't know. Like it's just a very, I don't know.
I just think she's a bit dead inside.
Yeah, somebody pointed out that her accent is a little Winona Ryder-ish, and then once you hear that, you can't unhear it. So now I'm going to really try to focus for the next time and see if I can find a Winona Ryder-ish vibe to her accent. But I quite like her son.
I quite like her son too. He's cool.
So I think there's got to be something there. Like I wonder if she's just being very guarded because it's television. I don't know.
Well, and because she's going through a separation, so there's some shit going on. It seems like a weird time to decide to sign up to a reality TV show. If you are like,
so too.
I know, right? It's like it's hard to know how we feel about it.
Yeah, I'm not invested in you emotionally at all yet. Like, I don't really care. And it seems like you're pretty much separated anyways. Like, if he just is popping into Utah occasionally on the weekends, but working in Chicago, like, what does it matter? I mean,
I mean, in my book now, they've never been married. They're just separated. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, fine.
Right.
We'll see how it goes. But the big drama obviously comes from Lisa, unsurprisingly, because she is ruffling all sorts of feathers. And first on her shit list is Whitney. Now, how did you feel about Whitney going up to her and saying what she said about the gift at the vowel? Oh, that might have been where it was.
Oh.
It might have been on Salt Lake City that they were saying vowel. In fact, I'm almost certain it's Of course it is.
Totally dogged out the OC ladies.
Of course it's Whitney, right?
Yeah,
calling it a vowel
probably.
Okay, so Whitney goes up and has a word with Lisa because apparently the staff that she supplied to help with the tequila
got hammered
all her booze and got hammered and broke shit.
I honestly am team Whitney on this one. I think it's totally acceptable to go to somebody and tell them how their employees acted in your home.
If I was a business owner, I would want to know. If my
I'd be fucking mortified as well.
I would. I'd be like, I am so sorry. Like, let it be known I will be having serious words. It's not okay. I'm sorry they did that to you in your own house. Like,
for sure. That's the only acceptable answer. It's not acceptable to then like fight with her and essentially tell her she's wrong and you're going to out her for being a swinger because you had a problem with her employees. Like, when you stand up for your friends over your rando bartender employees?
Not okay. I mean, we often get this, right? We often get people whose businesses come under scrutiny, and as soon as it's on television, they get really triggered, and they're like, how dare you? So I guess maybe that's where it comes from. But you don't need to behave like that. And you certainly don't need to then call up little old Whitney, who, bless her, is like, so out of her fucking depth with this.
Yes.
Like, so out of her depth.
Yeah.
And threaten her with whatever it is. And I love Whitney. She's like, listen, I don't care. Like, people are always going to talk about me. They have, always will. But it's just really nasty. Like, I honestly think she's the nastiest housewife I've seen so far.
Yes. I mean, especially for something so benign and, like, non-personal. Like, Whitney wasn't making it personal. She wasn't making it about her business. Like, she was just like, hey, this sort of happened. I thought I should let you know.
Yeah. She didn't like it one bit, did she?
Fuck no, she didn't. And apparently her husband didn't either. Like, he was not
weird
people.
Too.
Not pleasant.
No, not nice people at all.
And these are the hardcore. Like, they're hardcore Mormons, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're still in the church. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that there's a connection.
Yeah. I wonder what it could be.
We'll see. But, I mean, Lisa's on all sorts of people's shit list because obviously she's upset Heather, and I don't like it. I don't like it when people upset Heather because I like Heather a lot.
Heather's a badass. She seems super genuine, super down to earth, business lady kicking ass, raising her kids, went through a hard Mormon divorce. Like, leave her alone.
Leave her alone. And also, though, Lisa's just so rude. Like, oh my God, I don't even really remember her. I mean, it's so fucking Mean Girls high school bullshit.
It's exactly that.
This woman is blowing my mind.
Well, and let's be real. when you go to BYU as a Mormon, like, you do things with people on campus. Like, it's not like, I mean, my college, I don't remember a lot of people that I may have gone to college with because it was a huge campus. It was a lot of like distance learners or whatever. Like, it was like professional people then also going to college. But like BYU is a very like obviously a faith-based school. That is
they were
like a high school. Yeah, and they were friends, and they were in the dorms together.
Yeah, she's not like, oh, we went to school together at the same time. She's like, we were friends at school. Like, to say that you don't even remember me is crazy. I mean,
and that she was the girl flashing her boobs, which she totally implied.
She didn't imply. She did it.
She did it. Yeah.
She said it outright. I mean, Lisa is off the scale nasty. Like, I've never seen anything like this. So I'm so excited to see. She's truly like the Wicked Witch of the fucking West. It's blowing my mind how awful she is. You know what I mean? Like, even Vicky Gumbelson.
Vicky was nice for a lot of seasons before she became really nasty.
She was. This girl comes straight in with like grade A poison. I'm excited. And the other, I guess, a little mention is, and one of the reasons why I sort of warmed to Whitney a little bit is the chat about her dad as well, who, bless him. Here's what I want to say, and I want to say it with kindness, because obviously he's struggling and he's doing, it seems to be doing really well. But I do think, and Rudy Giuliani could probably benefit from this too, I do think men of a certain age should embrace the grey.
Yeah. Stop, don't dye.
Don't dye the hair.
No.
It's not a great look.
No, it looks too unnatural.
Yeah, it does. But that being said, I've got that out of my system now. So it could have been kinder. But anyway, it seems like a really interesting dynamic to be watching. And it really made me feel for Whitney because I think she's done that thing where she's gone through something harsh. She's been judged. And she's learned that lesson and doesn't want to do that to somebody else who's been cut off by everybody else.
Yeah.
I really hope that he does okay.
Yeah, I think Whitney's just a kind soul.
Yeah.
And, I couldn't even imagine kind of, dealing with that with your dad and not knowing about it for so long and then, kind of having to clean up the pieces essentially.
Yeah, and being the only one as well. Having the pressure of being the only one that he has to rely on, and she's funding his recovery and things like that. It says a lot about a person. So it's going to take a lot for me to start thinking badly of Whitney at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I'm excited that it's on our roster. I'm really enjoying a new show.
I am too. One other thing I want to bring up to everybody else out there. Is this general knowledge that a thumbs up means fuck you?
I think it might be a millennial. Mind you, they're not millennials.
No, they're older than we are. I didn't know this.
I did not know this either. And
is it just a Utah thing? I don't know.
I think we need some input. We need some input on this. Listeners, hello, listeners. I sounded like a 1940s radio show then. Hey,
hello, listeners.
If you can tell us what you know about the thumbs up emoji, honestly, just to help us out on a personal level, because
I throw those things around all the time.
You do a thumbs up.
I do thumbs up all the time.
Have you been saying fuck you to me?
Apparently, I have. Haven't even noticed.
Well, fuck you too.
So what does fuck you mean then? Because I throw those around too.
Yeah, those ones. That little emoji.
Yeah.
The thing is, also, apparently the millennials are getting really annoyed because, or the Gen Xs, or whoever the young ones are really annoyed because it's a real sign of our age if we use the laughing emoji to say something's funny. Apparently that's not what that's for. Apparently the crying emoji is for funny.
The one with like the tears coming to the sides?
No,
or just
the ones with the
single tear?
Down. The big stream of tears on both sides.
Oh, yeah, I would get that would be funny, too. I thought you meant, like, the single tear. The single tear is not funny.
I just think that the laughing thing is the funny thing, but apparently that's not cool anymore.
Man.
We can decide how much of a shit we decide to give. Like that bit on TikTok where it's like, if we wait here for long enough, a fuck might fall into my hand, and I can give it to you.
Maybe.
Let's move on to our last show of the week. I feel like I'm losing my mind a bit. It's been a week. Southern Charm.
Southern Charm. I know you feel the same way, but I love how they're dealing with like the corona rollout on this show. I feel like this is the show that's nailed it.
They really are. It feels almost documentary. Like, it feels exciting.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm watching a movie and there's shit building up. And all these people are like, nah, it's fine. And they were like, no, it's not fine. Don't go in the dark basement.
It's still not fine. Almost a year later.
I know, honestly. I think they've really thought about it. I love the way that it's produced, it's put together. It's really creating some cool tension, even though obviously we know what happens.
Right.
I love it. I'm really enjoying it. It made me excited for what's coming with Southern Charm. Before we get into the coronavirus chat, though, let's talk about the love triangle that is emerging in South Carolina, facilitated largely by a meddling Miss Patricia. Let's be clear.
100%. I love that Pringle gets so hammered that he tells Austin straight to his face that I have designs on your girlfriend, and then goes to Madison and is like, I have designs on you.
I feel kind of bad about it, but I do. Listen,
I'm not mad about it.
I am
Please subscribe, rate, and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates is by Jimmy Sims.